Hi guys, it's Bunnymon and welcome to today's video and welcome to another WWE reaction. This video was recommended by Muhammad and he said, can you react to Maven's video then versus now? Wrestlers reveal how WWE has changed, where he compares with recent WWE stars on how different the company is since his release. This is actually a perfect video because it can teach me a bit of the previous then, because I'm more informed with the now since I'm into WWE for the last year or so. So I know more about the now than the then, the back, the before. So let's go and check out this video and let's go.
Hey guys, Maven here. Now, from 2001 through 2005, I was a WWE wrestler.
I like that he
and
always
in the 20
introduces
plus
the
years
dance.
I've been gone, a lot has changed from the unwritten rules to the backstage culture. So to find out what those differences are, I brought two of my buddies in today, MXM, Mace and Mansoor. We're going to be talking about the backstage politics,
Oh wait,
the
they are
unwritten
WWE
rules,
wrestlers
and
too?
the culture of the locker room. So, guys, are you ready to get into the first question?
Bring it on! Yeah! We're gonna burn all our bridges!
Question
Yeah,
one,
sure.
do WWE wrestlers get to keep the belts? Now, when I was the hardcore champion, the 3 times I was hardcore champion, I would take it home, but I didn't get to necessarily keep it. What was it like when you were there?
Well, you're asking the wrong guys because we were losers.
We didn't win a single belt or title.
Yes, they're called championship titles. I don't
Bell
know.
holds up your pants.
Back in your day, I'm sure you were allowed to say the word belt, but we were actually banned from saying the word belt because a belt, as Mansoor says, holds up your pants.
Once you have the belt,
Okay.
you are the champion. You get to carry it around, keep it home.
Okay.
Of course, the reason they do that is because they don't want to carry it around. They want you to carry it around.
All right.
You have to put it in your luggage, right? When you're flying places, you got to put that in your bag, lug it around. And the only way I could see that really being a benefit is if you're the Money in the Bank holder, because then you can actually put your stuff in there. It's
carry on.
True. Yeah. I remember a couple of guys backstage, they had their own crates. I won't mention any names.
So they do still have crates.
Okay.
They have crates for certain people's
Yes.
entrance gear.
Yes.
And they also have crates for the TV version of the belts.
So you're telling me there's 2 versions of an
TV
Intercontinental
version.
Championship, a tag team championship?
Absolutely.
Are
So
you
what
serious?
they do is they have one that you carry around in your bag and gets dinged up, and it might not be the prettiest version of the belt.
So it's not TV ready?
Not
That's
for
the one
TV.
you take to house shows.
Yes.
Got you.
That's for
Oh, for
the
the house
unwashed matches
shows.
to wash. So
Yeah.
after that,
Yeah,
you have the
non-broadcast.
TV version, which is shined up and polished, real nice. Got the nice side plates on it. That's TV
Yeah.
ready.
Literally had no clue.
Okay, me
Question 1,
neither.
I'm already learning stuff. I know they are, Dan. You ready for the next one?
Yes, we are.
All right, guys.
But I still don't understand why they are not allowed to call it belts. So what else?
How
they call it?
do WWE wrestlers get paid? Now, what I mean
Okay,
by
let me actually guess. From my point of view, how would the WWE wrestlers get paid? I think it depends on how many viewers the event itself gets or how many tickets are being sold. There's a percentage in it. But also, I think they always follow the percentage of the wrestlers' social media influence or any kind of other type of revenue that they can bring. So I don't think all wrestlers are paid equally. I think some of them, like top tier wrestlers, get paid way more than others, of course. I think per match they get paid, how many times they are on screen they get paid. I think all of their accommodations get paid, for travels, how much they travel, how much free time they have, or the work, I mean.
this. During my time, I
Hard,
was on pay
right?
sheets, meaning I was going to get a percentage of ticket sales for every show, all the non-televised shows.
Yeah.
And each week, as long as I was on pay sheets, my check was going to be different every Tuesday when I got it. Not to mention, I got a hard copy check sent to me in the mail. Guaranteed that's not how it is for you.
No, not even close. Actually, you were just talking about this week, right?
So we do get a check in the mail every week, but it's the same number every time.
Every time.
No matter
No
how
way.
many shows you work, no matter how many times you wrestle.
Oh my god, that is such a rip-off, you guys. I mean, it's good for like lower tier wrestlers who can literally be like, it's like a salary for them. So it really, I don't know, it's not motivational. Do you think it's motivational when you have the same amount of money for everyone equally all the time? Why would you give more to the company if you are paid the same? Like, I feel like it's more motivational if you knew that if you perform better, if you do better, you get better money.
Even if you don't wrestle at all, you get the same payment every
that is
single
good,
week.
though.
You get
You don't have
guaranteed
to
money no
work.
matter what.
In a way, you're actually not incentivized to work because when you're working house shows, when you're doing all of these dates, you have to pay for your car, you have to pay for your hotel.
Yes.
And the only thing we don't pay for is our flights.
Yeah.
So if you were
You
just
pay
sitting
for
hurt, right. If you were just sitting at home and hurt, then in that situation,
Yeah.
you're just getting your your weekly paycheck.
There's pros and cons, right? Because
Right.
let's say I tore my ACL and I was out for a year, and that whole time I was sitting at home, I'd be making the exact same money I was
Yeah,
making
that's
if I was
good, yeah.
working 3 or 4 times a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, during my time, we had pay sheets, and then we had the downside guarantee, meaning we were going to get paid the same each and every week. And as soon as you would come off of an injury and go back on the road, we would immediately say, "Put me back on pay sheets," because we knew we could make more. We were incentivized to work because we knew the
Incentivized
amount
to
that I
work.
would make. The last contract I
Yeah.
signed, I believe my downside was around, I think it was like 125 or 130,000, and I knew I had the chance to make 3 times each week if I was on house shows or if I did the full loop, as we called it. So they incentivize us to be out there.
It's also a little bit different now because what they have now is it's called the bucket system, which does.
This is not new
bucket
term to me.
system is completely
Bucket
different.
system.
So we do still have a downside.
Okay.
And everything you do, actually, you get paid technically, and it goes into this bucket. But as long as your bucket doesn't overflow, you just get your downside.
It's very complicated, but this is basically what it means. It's every time you work a show, you get an invisible payment that doesn't actually go into your bank account.
Okay.
It goes into a metaphorical bucket. The top of the bucket is your downside.
Hold on. Did they actually call this a bucket?
bucket
Yes.
system.
It's a bucket
Alright.
So
system.
you said, Gurman, your downside was 125?
My last contract I ever signed, 125, 3 months before they let me go.
So if your downside is $125,000, and let's say every time you work a show, they make an invisible payment of $1,000. Now you don't see that $1,000 until you make $125,000 worth of bookings on top of your downside. So anything above $125,000 that you make is extra as a bonus for you. So let's say you sell a ton of t-shirts, right?
Yeah, so merch also goes into the bucket.
That's right. So we didn't see any extra money for merchandise. It all went into our bucket.
Wait a minute, you guys don't get royalties?
Not unless you sell so much that it outperforms your downside.
Pay-per-view checks. Do you get pay-per-view check? I couldn't wait to get a pay-per-view
You
check.
get paid the exact same amount whether or not you're on the pay-per-view or not.
Unless they decide to pay you more than your downside for pay-per-view. So let's say if my downside was
That's a
$125,000 and I
ripoff.
worked a Saudi show, which is ka-ching, ka-ching, and they decide to pay you $150,000, well then you're gonna make $25,000 bonus because that's on top of your downside.
But hold on, that's an arbitrary number. Who's to say how much each show is worth?
The wizard on the mountain that decides who gets paid what.
Oh my god, they are getting ripped off so hard. Dude, and so funny saying like ka-ching Saudi, or like they have no idea how big of a ka-ching the company even gets. They get nothing.
When they look into the magic orb and say, you're gonna make this much money because we've decided that's how valuable you are to the company.
So the problems
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
seeing in my head are the
The
problems that
value of
actually
the
existed
wrestler
backstage.
is really
And get
hard
this,
to
so
figure
if you
out.
were working a lot of house shows, if you were on TV every week, if you were on every pay-per-view, and if you were selling a lot of t-shirts, something that happened pretty frequently is all of a sudden you stop going on house shows.
Right? When you approach your downside in your bucket,
Convenient.
just as much conveniently, right when you're about to make a little bit of extra money. all of a sudden,
We don't need you for house shows this week.
we got nothing for you.
Yeah. Isn't it funny how that always happens? It's the damnedest thing.
So you don't
Ready
make
for the next
more.
one?
Let's do it.
Oh wow.
Who was the locker room leader? Obviously, I've said it. My time, Undertaker. How about in your time?
Our time was a little bit different because we were kind
they
of in
had
this
someone like
time
that.
period where guys were just
Undertaker.
realizing that they were the locker room leaders. So we were on a European tour.
Maybe Roman Reigns.
And we were on this show with the New Day and the Usos. They were main eventing most of the shows in the UK. And at the end of the tour, Xavier Woods and Kofi, they were talking to us over a game of Tekken, and they were like, hey, we should probably be watching the shows. And then we were like, why? And he was like, because I think we're Undertaker now. Like, it's always been Undertaker.
Always.
To those guys, it was Undertaker.
Always.
But all of a sudden, those guys realized that it's like, listen, we've been here for 10, 15 years.
They were the veterans.
We're the vets.
Yeah.
We're not the kids anymore.
I remember Jimmy Uso looking at me and being like, man, you weren't around for JBL, man. You weren't around for JBL. Yes, you were.
I can't believe that they have
He
been
wouldn't
so
let you
long
get
in the
around.
company.
Because it was like, I wish I could be JBL. I wish I could. I can't.
Things were definitely different during my time. There were guys, JBL being one of them, but guys obviously like Bob Holly, JBL, Ron Simmons. I mean, my God, Ron Simmons, when he walked into a room, you did exactly what that man
Exactly.
wanted. And you guys didn't have that per se, did you?
Well, it was much more laid back. John Cena wasn't around. Roman, obviously, he's not there necessarily every week.
Yeah, this is
in
the
terms
problem
of,
because
like,
a lot of these like huge guys, like not only physically but like really characteristic wise, they're part-timers. So when you're a part-timer, you're just focusing on your own thing. You come, show up, do your thing, and then leave. So it is really difficult to be a leader in a situation where half of the time you're not even there or not present. So yeah, I do understand. Like if I can think of someone who has the leadership like Roman Reigns would have, but is always there and present, I don't know. Is LA Knight or the mid, like I don't think anybody would really like listen to them as much. Booker T? No, he's not even present. I
guy,
don't
the top
know.
guy in that locker room, Seth, well, what's changed now is a lot of guys have their own buses.
Okay.
So it's almost like they're not really in the locker room because they got their own space, which is great for them.
No, wait a minute. When they pull up in these buses, do they go into catering, get their meal, and then go back to their buses?
Yeah.
I mean,
sometimes.
Man, get the hell out of here.
Randy Orton, who
I know who
you're
you're
good
talking
friends
about.
with. Yeah,
I know who you're talking about.
You're good friends with him. He would actually just fully be in the locker room.
Gotcha.
Which we always really appreciated about him because he was
Randy's the
obviously
best. Yeah,
top of the
Randy
top
could
guy.
be the one.
One of the things I took from my time from being there was it didn't matter what place you were on the card, you'd be sitting right next to me changing in a locker room. I'd be sitting next to a Bill Goldberg, a Shawn Michaels, Triple
that was
H.
different
It didn't
back
matter.
then. Yeah.
Not many guys had their own buses back then.
nice.
So we all were just the boys. So, it almost sounds like now it's not necessarily like that.
A lot of time, guys, they either have their own locker room or they have their own buses, but that isn't to say that they aren't supportive and helpful and giving us advice. It's just that there isn't really that presence policing a lot.
Gotcha.
And a lot of the guys who are in the position where they can police it, I don't think they realize
to.
they're in that position.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I don't think they want to.
Because they feel like I'm not the Undertaker. I'm not, I'm not these guys.
I also think they probably just don't want to admit that they're old.
Yeah.
Because you have to be a certain age to be able to do that kind of thing. And I think if I was in
thank you. I don't wanna admit that
I'm one of the
I'm
kids.
No, I'm still young.
Admit it, life gets a lot easier when you do.
That's true.
Does a wrestler's court still exist? Now, I did a video about
that?
wrestler's court, and if you don't remember, you did not see
Truth
it.
about
Wrestler's
wrestler's
court
court.
was, during my time, a way where wrestlers could police themselves, but do it in a humorous way, a funny way, still get a point across, but not necessarily take it up to the office if there was an issue. Does that still exist?
We used to joke about it all the time because we'd always say, like, if somebody got stiffed or if a spot went wrong, if somebody got hit accidentally, not stiffed, if somebody got hit accidentally, or a spot goes wrong, something goes wrong, we like, that's wrestler's core. You're gonna have to bring a bottle of Jack. Bring a bottle of Jack.
So people were still referring to Taker.
Yeah.
We knew of wrestler's court,
But you
it
guys did not have
never
wrestler's
happened.
court.
No,
Never.
Get out.
it never came up.
So how do
Anyone
they
who
deal
was
with these
being
smaller issues?
taken to wrestler's court, you knew they were guilty.
100% conviction rate.
Defense attorney, it's not what I fought with my life.
All we were trying to do was take someone who did something maybe a little sketchy, a little suspect, and let them know, hey, we know.
Yeah.
Put 'em on
We
blast.
We
saw
know
that.
you did.
Yeah.
And then make light of it and make
That's so you
it
know.
fun and
Putting it out
surprisingly,
there.
whatever behavior took place, it was gone. Sometimes Vince would even come and he would be laughing, and it was lighthearted. Whenever there was a wrestler's court, we knew that it was going to be.
That sounds completely different because you could never get Vince to come out of his catacombs when we were there.
No, well, he would hole up in his office all day, and there'd be a line a mile long.
You'd have to get past like a
You're not getting me into
bodyguard.
that.
Yeah.
You're not getting me into there was a line for Vince a mile long for anything. Next question.
Whoa.
This is deep.
Guys, go into it.
I love it.
I thought this was a.
We fucking stumped you.
I thought it was a thought experiment.
We fucking stumped you. That's my production department. That's my production department.
That's really to say that nothing has changed.
Do WWE wrestlers use steroids? Now, before we
Yeah,
started,
this is literally the question. This is so important for me to know, and I don't think I will even get an answer even here because literally it's a hush-hush secret out there. But whenever I ask you guys, whether I'm live streaming and in the chat I ask you or like the fans, and I'm like, what about all of these big dudes? Is this all natural? And how to accomplish this so naturally? And like 50%, if not more of you guys, always inform me and tell me, Bunny, they use steroids. But like the healthy kind of steroids or this or that, and they don't talk about it. I'm like, I don't know. Like nobody literally went out there and said it. So let's see what Maven has to say about it.
I told you, if you're not comfortable with answering a question, you don't have to.
Yeah. And this is
After
really-
this one. During my time, I was on. I missed those days. I admit it. I loved the way I looked.
There you go.
I'm not saying other guys
I
were
love that
on,
he's saying
but
it
I'm
and he's
certainly
being
not saying
honest.
they weren't. I know you guys had the wellness policy.
Listen,
Go.
if he was
We can always-
there, if he was on it, and he looked the way he looked, don't get me wrong, like he looks really jacked, really like powerful and strong. But if we compare him to the likes of Brock Lesnar or Roman Reigns or like I don't want to shade because it's not like I'm saying Brock did it or Roman did steroids or whatever. But like I'm saying, it just feels right to me with my brain thinking that there must be something there. Like it is really sus.
Speak to our own experience.
Which I appreciate.
Yes.
Which I appreciate.
So
I think these guys
there
did it.
is a wellness policy that they take very seriously. People are randomly tested every month, which
this
we
is the
would
thing,
get
yeah.
picked up for often.
Yeah.
Okay.
Randomly.
Was there, hold on, was
randomly
there a
selected.
reason?
Well, the reason was because we never popped.
Okay, that's fine.
I was randomly selected like how I was randomly selected at TSA.
I was gifted with incredible genetics from my incredibly genetically superior parents.
That's true.
Mansoor, what about you?
Me, I'm not genetically superior at all. I'm actually pretty much bottom of the pile trick.
Yeah, they don't look like
I'm
guys
somebody
who would
where
use it.
when I eat, if I eat a ton of food, it doesn't go to my legs, it doesn't go to my, it doesn't go to my chest, it goes right
All
here.
in the belly, but it's not only with
right
you
to these-
though.
these
That's with
lungs.
everyone. You want to get rid of your
It's just one of
belly,
those
it's full
things
diet.
where, yes, we have a wellness policy. There are ways to get around it. I do, like everybody knows that
Right.
because testosterone replacement therapy is something that people do.
Gotcha.
Where if you have a low amount of testosterone, I guess people don't really know this, but you have a certain amount of testosterone in your body, right?
Yeah.
And if that's below a certain threshold, then medically speaking,
You can
get a prescription.
Yeah, you can get approved for it.
And if you get a prescription,
I know.
then if you get a prescription, WWE doctors are like, well,
You have a prescription.
Medical, yeah.
Take your medicine.
Yeah.
It is a medical use. There's also people who have like some type of organs failure or something. Like I think it was a kidney failure or something. And then they had to like go on a treatment that is full of steroids for a while, whether it is women or men. And other illnesses as well, like steroids could be used for generative reasons and for actually treatments. So it is hard to like, maneuver all around this. Like for example, me, I have PCOS, and basically when it comes to hormones, like I have more male hormones than female hormones, and I need to take medication to balance these out. And like literally thinking about that, like hormonal imbalance is so common around the world, and there's so different reasons, and you have to take there is no other option than to take medication for it. So yeah, I understand.
Exactly. So I'm not going to say who, obviously,
Right.
but I do know guys who would, right before getting their blood work done to test how much testosterone they did,
Right.
they'd eat a ton of junk food, McDonald's,
Make sure they're nice and low.
shakes,
Yeah.
wouldn't sleep, they jerk off. So their test would rock,
Rock bottom. Yeah.
Oh,
got
but
no
that's when they
tab, yeah.
know. That's when they know
We need
about
to load
it.
him up with
like
testosterone
a
immediately.
right now, we gotta get a needle in this guy.
Someone call Frank Thomas.
There's ways to get around
Okay.
it, but I will say, obviously,
Yeah.
like, it's so, because it has to go through a doctor,
Yeah.
nobody's going to
You can't abuse it in the way that you could probably.
One thing I noticed was after the wellness policy, during my time, the locker room was as most intimidating place on earth to me. I would walk back there, and I remember my first time being at Raw and SmackDown and just walking in and thinking, I'm amongst monsters.
Yeah.
And I tell people, a WWE locker room, it's like high school, but imagine high school where everybody is the prom king. And that's pretty much what
Yeah.
it is. Like everybody in there.
All
And
looks like-
and then jacked up. It was intimidating. So
Yeah.
when I found these doctors during my time, I was all too eager. Load me up.
The influence. This is like how society influence you in every kind of manner. It is so hard and difficult to fight against it. It always depends where you are born, who you hang out with, which school you go to, your best friends, people around. Like, especially with your job, also colleagues, your boss. Like, you can get influenced really easily because the pressure is so high in this, especially in the entertainment industry. Let's talk about that, because if I go and start from my perspective, for example, as a Twitch streamer or a YouTuber, as a content creator, but as a female content creator, for me, I would have to always compare myself with the biggest content female creators. And when I see them and I see what they do and how they behave and what they dress or how they look or what they say, who they associate with and stuff like it is so hard to not get influenced by that, to go on the path of success that I think that I need to go through in order to be one of those girls or be successful as them. But I have my own morals. I have my own different way of living and respect that I have for myself. And it is so hard to compare that, and it's so hard not to get influenced. It is a daily challenge, you guys.
Do WWE wrestlers prank each other?
Oh, for
Obviously,
sure
during my
they
day,
do.
we called that ribbing. Did you guys play ribs on each other?
Ribbing.
Well, there's definitely still ribs.
Yeah, there's definitely
Definitely still ribs. Do we have any particularly good rib stories?
Here's what I'll say though: the standard for a rib
Okay.
has changed dramatically.
Yes.
Right.
Because if I do
Ribbing.
recall, a rib used to be, oh, haha, I killed your dog. Oh, haha, I slashed your tires. Oh, haha, I put shit in your sandwich.
Okay, what could be
That's
worse
not
than
rape,
that?
That's assault.
Yeah.
Now a rib would be like,
That is
I
an
changed
assault.
the inputs for your controller on the PlayStation. you're really
Yeah,
embarrassed now, aren't you? Again, a
Now a rib would be, ooh, I made you wear mismatched socks.
Yeah,
I'm not
they got
familiar with.
soft now.
Al Snow ribbed me one time, and he put and if we can't say this, edit it out. When I was the hardcore champion, leaving Dallas DFW Fort Worth Airport, I'm walking through TSA at 6 in the morning, and TSA is looking at my bag, looking at me, calling people
What did they
over.
put?
They're coming over, looking at
dildo.
my bag, looking at me, and I'm thinking, yeah, they just want to be around a champion. Drink it in, drink it in. No, when I got to Charlotte and I opened my bag, there was a 10-inch chin strap dildo in my bag. So not only do these TSA agents think I can't fly without it, but it has to be up top, displayed perfectly. And I told him that rib paid dividends, because afterwards, for whatever reason, when I got home, I didn't throw it away. I don't know why. I put it in my laundry room, and every Monday I would have a cleaning lady that would come and clean my house because I was at Raw.
Why?
And she would leave me a note, and I get home on Tuesday and I see the note. Hey, saw your toy, lot of questions.
Oh, look at her. She cleans
She,
it
no,
for you.
she might have. It went in the garbage after that.
Well, it should have
But
gone to
I
the
remember
garbage
hearing stories
way
of the
earlier.
ribs that Mr. Fuji would play on, supposedly he hooked a guy to the hood of the car. They drugged him, knocked him out, put him to the hood of a car,
What a
and the guy
Yeah, that's
woke
assault.
up going down the highway. Like you said, there's a difference between fun and assault.
Yeah.
Fine line.
Here's a lighthearted rib that happened to me.
Mr.
To give you an
Fuji.
example of the kind of ribs that happen now. So I take a long time to work on my hair. I'm very proud of my, hey, no offense.
Just dig it in a little harder.
Only things that I have left, okay? This hairline is still level and you can see it.
He takes pills for it every day.
Pills, okay? We're not talking about that. We're talking about this hair. So before a segment where we were all about to go up to a wall and look at a list, it was going to be the participants in a battle royal for a #1 contendership spot for the title, right? We're all supposed to go, oh, am I on the list?
Right.
Am I on the list? So I do my hair, I gel it up, I get it perfect, and I'm right in front, right in front, looking at the name. And they're counting down. They go 5, 4, 3, 2, and right before 1, Ivar, the Viking, comes up to me and goes,
So you couldn't do anything. That's good. That's good. That's
so
good.
yeah, nothing that put my life at risk.
It's gonna be a while before I understand that you changed the settings on my PlayStation controller. I don't know if I understand that one yet. Next
He's not a
question.
gamer.
What do WWE wrestlers do for fun? Hey, during my time, I'll let you guys answer this.
You're not allowed to say.
It's not so different.
Okay.
Let me tell you how. We're on a European tour, right?
All right.
Final match, final show of the tour, right? Everybody's feeling good.
Yeah.
We're tired. We want to let off some steam.
Right.
So what happens? Xavier Woods, right? He's sort of the ringleader for all the.
Okay.
And he says,
I can see that.
Yeah.
hey, listen, we're all going to get together. We got a conference room in the hotel, and we're going to party. And so I call my boy. I know a guy in Europe. He owns a chain of restaurants. His name's John. But he also does some things on the side, and I say, hey, get us some extras if you catch my drift, right? And what comes to the hotel? 10 boxes of extra large pizzas stuffed crust.
Not where I thought that was going, guys. Not where I thought that was going.
Oh, me neither.
John brought it, and it was beautiful. And we played Tekken all.
You're kidding me.
We put the PlayStations on the projectors.
Projector on the
there were
wall.
screens on the wall. We had 2 systems set up.
Oh.
Well, we didn't even sleep.
Nope, not at all. We stayed
All-nighter.
We stayed
I
up
love these
all the way
gamers.
to 2 a.m.
You're fucking with me. Like, really?
Yeah.
You guys really went in the conference room and played video games?
Yeah.
Were there strippers dancing while like you were playing these games?
No.
Was there
No, the
alcohol?
We're at the strip club.
Were there alcohol there?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yes, we did not partake.
Zimas?
What?
What's
You
that?
guys are too young. You don't even know what Zimas
Are
are.
those the aliens from Alien?
Oh my God.
Dolph?
Famous.
Okay.
generation
Was
gap.
there? What do you guys drink now? High noons?
Is that like a cowboy thing?
God, you guys don't even know.
One thing
I immediately thought of McQueen over I know time. Is that a cowboy thing? Man, they're gamers. I love this so
about
much.
me and Mansoor is we don't drink, we don't smoke.
Good for you.
Only
They're lying. They're lying. Maybe when they're in their work, in their profession, in their season. But I bet these guys had a drink or two. Come on.
yeah, our only addiction is competition. All right, but some of the other boys obviously
Even like, I don't
partake in
know.
a couple of beverages.
Okay. All
Tell
right.
you this, guys love to vape.
Yeah, a lot of vaping.
Vaping.
Lots of vaping.
Big
Yeah.
vape culture.
Huge.
What do they mean by
WrestleMania
vaping?
18,
Like cigarette
I
smoking?
had my
Like a
spot with
vapor-
Undertaker
like
during the
vapor,
Royal
or
Rumble.
do they mean like
And I get a
shisha?
call as soon as I checked into the hotel.
Shisha.
And it was big from that season 1 of Tough Enough. And he said, get down to the lobby immediately. And I didn't want to go. I was like, I'm just getting checked in. He's like, no, Undertaker's telling you to get down here. So I go down to the lobby, and he had a full bottle of Jack Daniels. And he told me, you're not leaving this lobby until this is done. Fortunately for me, Jack's water to me.
Sure.
I love it. I love it.
I don't know what I would
See,
do.
like,
But really, because I respect the fact you guys don't drink and
yeah.
smoke and everything. I
Big respect
fully
in my
100%
opinion. I don't
respect
drink
that.
either,
That's
so
good on
and I
you.
don't smoke either. So.
But it's just amazing to me just how much times have changed. But just like with the last question with steroids, it's changed for the better. It's definitely changed for the
I
better.
think the worst thing that the wrestlers are going to have to deal with in a couple of years now is like carpal tunnel.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Sore thumbs. Yeah, you're not going to have to worry about the life expectancy as much anymore, which I think is really good.
And I've
Posture,
noticed because
eyes.
there was a lot of guys that just aren't around from my time, and there were guys during my time that we were losing and losing way too soon.
Yeah, true.
Good on you. Good on you for moving past that. And I will give the company credit for instituting a wellness policy. It was needed. It's partaking in what we partook.
Like, unfortunately, we have to lose so many lives.
Much
for it to be
respect and
where
my
it is
hats off
today.
to each of you. Next question.
Unfortunately.
Definitely not the last one.
Got it. Stay. Stop. Don't
Is it
click
the
that
last one?
button.
No,
And
there's
make sure
one
you
more.
like and subscribe.
Yes, you're
God,
like.
I never say that. I never say
I'll
that.
say it for you.
Click like and subscribe. Click like and subscribe.
That little bell.
Do WWE wrestlers get days off?
Boy, do we.
Discussed this
I
earlier.
bet everyone
And
should.
again, with the pay sheets as opposed to downside guarantee, we were encouraged to be on the road. Tell me, would you guys get days off? And if so, did you want them?
Well, unfortunately, we got a lot of days off. Sometimes they would just say, yeah, we don't need you. Yeah, we don't need you for anything.
We got nothing for you.
Yeah, we've got nothing for you. Don't come to TV, don't
love
come
how
to
honest
house
they
shows,
are.
and you just sit at home and you feel like you're going completely insane because it is completely out of
Yeah.
your control. There's nothing you can
Yeah.
I don't know how it was with
Mentally, that is so exhausting because in a way you feel like a failure, like you haven't improved, like proved yourself. You haven't showed how important you of an asset you are to the company itself. But you know, and you believe in yourself, and you feel like you can do better. But somehow it was a missed opportunity, and they haven't seen you at your best, and that is the worst feeling ever. When you know that you can do better and that you can show them better, but they already have made up their mind and there is nothing you can do about it. Thanks.
when you guys were there for house shows or non-televised events, but we had to be there an hour before the show. So if a match, show started at 7, we had to be there by 6. Unlike the 1 o'clock, you'd have to be there for TV.
Yeah.
Was it the same with you?
Yeah,
Pretty much, yeah.
Generally.
Later call time for the untelevised events, but the ones that were on TV had to be there way early.
Yeah.
First of all, because you don't know what you're doing until you get there.
100%.
Right? And then there's hours of rehearsals, and that could always change. They're always rewriting stuff.
All
Things change
day.
all the time. You
All
might be
day.
on TV at noon, and then by 4 o'clock, you're cut off the show.
Yep.
And then by 6 o'clock, you're back on, but they cut your time by 6 minutes. 1 minute to work your match.
We had a lot of that. You have a 6-minute match, and then 5 minutes before you go up to Gorilla, oh yeah, we're gonna need you to shave 3 minutes of that.
Oh yeah.
So you're like, okay.
Sometimes we would get that during
How
the
would you
match.
do that
We go out
now?
there, have an entrance, have a commercial break, come back, and they'd be like, "Hey, we cut 3 minutes." So
There'd be many times Stevie Richard would lean in and be like, we're starting with the heat. And, and it's just time-wise, because they will go to commercials.
What I always say
Going
is that's
through
the job we
commercials
get
in the
paid for.
middle
It's
of
not
the
to wrestle.
event, that is
It's not
shitty.
because we do these amazing matches. The reason that WWE superstars get paid so much is because of the stress. It's the
Right.
mental torture,
Yeah.
emotional torture that comes with being in that company. That's why I can't really complain, because at the end of the day, our schedule was easy peasy compared to most wrestlers, right? I mean, I won't give an exact number, but for a 3-year contract, we're making over $1 million.
Wow. Good on you. Good for you.
Which is insane.
Good for you both.
But when you think about
Remember when I said I was paying you for this? Not anymore.
more than that.
Yeah.
And I will always appreciate that I have a roof over my family's head because of what WWE provided for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I will say this, we were not getting paid to wrestle, we were getting paid to be depressed.
Now,
Yeah.
during my time, if I did need days off, I mean, you had to have a good reason. I got days off one time for a wedding, my buddy's wedding, where I was the best man. They didn't
Yeah, I
give me days
remember he
off when I
talked
wanted
about
to go to
this,
my
yeah.
high school reunion. So how was it
Yeah.
for you guys?
it was kind of similar. You could ask for days off and give them a reason. Sometimes you wanted to try and play your days off around, what you've got going on TV.
Video game tournaments?
We got a big video game tournament. Candace Mansour, for example, was there for the birth of his daughter. And we were sent to, we got a message, what was it, the same day or the day after?
The night that my daughter was born, I got a call because we were on SmackDown and my daughter was born on a Saturday. And I got a call and they said, we need you for Raw. You're being moved to Raw. Can you fly out tomorrow? And it was on speakerphone. And I looked at my wife holding our infant daughter, our newborn, and she just looked at me and she just nodded.
Go.
And I said, I'll be there.
Because we had not gotten an opportunity at that point, and they seemed like they had something for us. And like, I didn't want to be the one that forced them to go, but I was like, we can't miss this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you have to take those opportunities when they present themselves, because like you said, you don't know when or if
it's also sad
they're
because,
coming
like,
back. I remember
you will
thinking to
never get
myself,
back the time
these
with your
pay-per-view checks are
daughter.
never going to stop.
She was that
And
small.
one day they do. So I understand what you're saying. Well, guys, we've learned so much today. Tell
Yeah,
everyone
that
where they
was
can
such
find
an
you.
Well, you
amazing
can find
video.
us 2 or
Thank you
3
so
times a
much.
week at twitch.tv/GreatBlackOtaku, where we do what we do here today. We tell stories and we hang out.
Am I invited
Another
on?
streamer.
Absolutely.
Let's
Come
go,
on.
guys.
Book it. And make sure you click the link to check them out.
Definitely will do. I bet they play Tekken all the time. I love that there are Twitch streamers, you guys. I had no idea. Let's check them out. Sorry, unless you have got a time machine, this content is unavailable. They changed their name. They're not there anymore. Great. Wait, let me see again.
Just nod.
Make sure you click the link. Am I invited on? Checks are never going to
Maybe
stop.
it's the wrong link.
And one day they do. So I understand what you're saying. Well, guys,
TV/GreatBlackOtaku, where we do what we do here today.
Otaku. Yeah, Great Black Otaku. I did write that down. Shiza. Why don't they have a Twitch channel anymore? What did they do? Maybe they couldn't. Are WWE wrestlers allowed to have a Twitch stream and go live like that, or a YouTube channel? Because I know Undertaker has a YouTube podcast channel right now that he can upload on and stuff, but he didn't have it back in the day. So I wonder. But that is it. Let me know in the comment down below, guys, if they can or not. Maybe because of the contract they are signed, they are not allowed to. That is it. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more. And see you tomorrow with a brand new video. Sorry, I just smacked you. Apologies.